Okay, so let's dive into this. We're looking at these sources you brought, all focused on something pretty fundamental, right? Self-improvement, but specifically when, well, life just throws massive changes at you.
Exactly. And there's this phrase right at the start that jumps out, sea change.
Yeah, sea change. What does the source actually mean by that? Is it just poetic?
Well, it's defined quite clearly, actually. It means a really big, sudden transformation, like the ground shifting under your feet kind of change. Things are just different.
Right. Okay, and that sets up the big question, doesn't it? The core challenge these sources seem to tackle is, well, how do you stay grounded
Yeah, how do you keep your footing when everything's changing around you? How do you navigate that?
without losing your sense of direction or, yourself?
Exactly. And the ideas presented are maybe a bit unexpected, especially this first one about selfishness.
Okay, yeah, this part really caught my eye because usually selfishness is just seen as bad, period.
Right. But the source here does something interesting. It suggests, okay, what if you take away the part that actually harms other people? You know, the manipulation, using people.
Exploiting them, walking over them.
Yeah, take that harmful aspect away. What's left? The source argues it's this core focus on your own needs, your own growth.
So a kind of purified self-focus.
Sort of. And the idea is if it's decoupled from hurting others, this focus isn't bad. It's actually described as almost a natural driver for self-improvement. Your energy isn't spent on conflict or needing approval.
Huh, okay. So focusing inward without causing harm actually builds a stronger self.
That's the argument. And you need that strength because, well, life does throw these sea changes at us. The question then becomes, how do you actually get through them? Not just survive, but maybe even thrive.
Right, and it's not just about being the toughest or smartest. The source brings in Darwin here, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. That quote. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change.
Responsive to change. So, adaptability.
Exactly. But framed less as just a physical thing and more like a mental skill, an internal capacity to, pivot, adjust.
That responsiveness, that's what gets you through the sea changes.
Precisely.
So, okay,
Hmm.
you've got this inward focus building your core strength. And that core needs to be adaptable, responsive. But you don't just sit around waiting for a crisis, right?
No, and that's where reflection comes in. The source really pushes this idea.
How so?
Well, things like journaling, actively looking back at your own experiences, your reactions to things.
Ah, okay, so not just letting experiences wash over you.
Right. It's about digging into them. Where could you have responded differently, maybe better? It's about finding those areas for improvement before the next big wave hits.
Like analyzing your own past performance, a project that went sideways maybe, or a difficult conversation.
Reflecting on your own reactions, your blind spots, that kind of inward look is presented as fuel for future growth.
Got it. Okay, so let's quickly recap. We talked about that idea of profound, sudden change, the sea change.
Yep. And that surprising perspective on selfishness, channeling that inward focus positively by, crucially, minimizing harm to others.
Then the absolute importance of responsiveness, adaptability, borrowing from Darwin as the key survival skill.
And lastly, using reflection, like journaling, to proactively look at your past and find opportunities to improve yourself.
Yeah, these aren't just theories, are they? They feel like practical ways you can think about your own growth, especially when things feel unstable.
Definitely. They offer a lens to view your own journey through.
So, maybe a final thought for everyone listening, based on all this?
Yeah, if that responsiveness to change really is the key to thriving, like the source suggests,
Yeah.
what's maybe just one situation from your own past you could take a moment to reflect on right now and see if there's a new opportunity for growth hidden in there for you?